Tuned in a couple of weeks ago. We're bringing it back. I got my coffee ready here. This is my pre-game ritual. A lot of people ask us, like, what do you do behind the scenes? How do you get in the mood for Hockey Night in Canada, Punjabi? Well, we play some tunes, which are not on right now. I got to have my coffee. Guys, do you have any special rituals?
I feel like we should have some music on, but anyways, go ahead.
I got my in-house coffee. Randeep's got his fancy stuff, as usual.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਦੋਨੇ ਅਮਲੀ ਆ ਯਾਰ ਚਾਹ ਪੀਣੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ
ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ
ਕਾਫੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਯਾਰ ਕਾਫੀ ਇਹ ਪੀਂਦਾ ਗੁਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਤੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਤੂੰ ਵੀ ਕੁਛ ਸੁਣਾ
ਯਾਰ I don't need routine, okay? ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ready ਹੁੰਨਾ.
Yeah, you know what it is? Here's a sneak peek of behind the scenes. This guy's usually half hour late and he barely makes it in airtime. That's his routine.
And today he came in and he ate half of my lunch when he got in. So
I did.
All the fruit, everything's done.
Okay, look at that.
Fashionably late, boys. You guys wouldn't understand.
Fashionably, I'd debate that, but he was late nonetheless. That's our routine, and the guys from the booth, who you'll see later on, Mantad and Harper, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਅਦਲੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਹ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਿਫਤ ਆ ਬਾਕੀਆਂ ਦੀ we have our own routines. All right, I want to get into some hockey conversation as well, right? We got some fun games in store tonight, but we gotta talk about what's going on in Alberta, guys. Nikita Zadorov has been full of like truth bombs over the last week. His team, the Calgary Flames, are not playing well. And with them, he had actually a quote that I want to get to here if we have it ready, producer. Have a listen to Nikita Zadorov and his assessment of what his team did in the last game.
I apologize to our fans. Playing like right now, so it's tough to watch.
And no doubt tough to hear. When you hear.
Nikita Zadorov.
I was going to ask, are you allowed to say that on the pre-show? Were you about to quote him there or no?
No.
Okay, good.
We could probably say it, but I won't. I want to keep it kid-friendly right now.
But Mundio,
family friendly.
ਇਹ 'ਚ ਕੋਈ ਝੂਠ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਜੋ ਉਹਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ?
No, ਉਹਨੇ ਸੱਚ ਕਿਹਾ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸਹੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਉਹਨੇ ਉਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਖੇਡ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਉਹਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ
ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਹੀ ਪੈਣਾ 4 ਗੇਮਾਂ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਹਾਰ ਗਏ ਆ Calgary Flames. They're losing. Edmonton, same thing. Alberta, it's tough right now. I think the game tomorrow is going to be a confidence builder for whoever wins that.
Okay, Tax, so you're going to be in the cold of Edmonton catching that game. You're going to be covering that game for Hockey Night in Canada, Punjabi. In a lot of ways, that matchup that's going to, first of all, Connor McDavid, he may play, we'll see. It's still up in the air. But like, who is more desperate? Because they're both desperate. But like, who needs this more than the other team right now?
I think Edmonton, man. When you have Connor and Leon on that team, they have Stanley Cup expectations, right? The pressure's on them, in my opinion.
It's on both sides. Even bringing in Huberto, you know, he's got a couple of goals.
Yeah,
Kadri,
it is on both. Yeah.
You look at Kadri, boys. Kadri's got no goal in 8 games, minus 10 at the moment. He's supposed to be a two-way guy. Gotta show some leadership, and you know what? I think both teams are on the hot seat right now.
And the magic of TV here. This is live visuals from Edmonton getting ready for the Heritage Classic. So you talked about both teams. My opinion is Calgary needs this. You can hear from Nikita Zadorov. Blake Coleman ne bhi aap kiha ke ਇਹ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਸਟੈਂਡਰਡ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਡਿੱਗਿਆ ਆ ਇਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਵੈਨਕੂਵਰ ਕਨਕਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਲੱਗਦੀ Edmonton's got so much firepower where you could see them be the hottest team in the NHL any given week this season. I don't see that with Calgary.
But here's the thing. Like, Calgary's got a new coach. Like, what were you expecting from them? With Edmonton, everyone's expecting a Stanley Cup. And they're the second worst team in the league right now.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll stay there, but we'll see. Because
they probably
the expectation with Calgary was, hey, Daryl Sutter was the guy that everybody blamed. He's gone now.
True.
The expectation was Huberdeau's going to be a better player.
But it's tough to change. It's tough to change with a new coach.
Yeah, and also Edmonton's got Dallas and a couple tough games. Seattle coming up. Yeah. They do play Vancouver again, and you know what? That's a huge rematch for them against Vancouver because they lost twice in the beginning of the season. So, you know, at the end of the day, the pressure's on Edmonton to win these games.
Okay, I got another question for you guys.
All right,
so
what do you got?
Whose goaltending and defense do you trust more? Calgary's or Edmonton's?
Calgary.
I would say Calgary.
I take Markstrom the way he's performing.
Vladar's been a good backup.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
You know what? Whose star power
power is Edmonton,
but, of course. But like the forward group, Huberdeau is not looking like a franchise player right now. He's being paid for that.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you're right, goaltending and defense matters, but scoring matters in this league. And Calgary, Nazem Kadri and Jonathan Huberdeau, Not doing it right now, man. Not doing that.
Yeah, and the big thing is, it's still early days, gentlemen, in the season here, but
No, it's not too early.
Let's
okay?
calm
It's
down.
never too
Let's
early.
calm down a little. But
We got to overreact.
It's not just losing games; it's the way you lose games at the end of the day. The way Edmonton lost to Philadelphia, I think that was 4-1. That game, terrible way to lose. So it's those things that kill the confidence for the team.
All right, that's tomorrow. Tak's going to be there. Keep an eye on Hockey Night Punjabi social media. And, of course, Elijah Shergill, our producer, will be heading there, too. We are doing Nashville, Toronto. Joseph Wall is not getting the start tonight. It's going to be Ilya Samsonov. But Wall has a nickname. It's called Brick. Punjabi de vich kehndे ਇੱਟ ਨਾ ਹਾਂ ਰੱਖਿਆ. First of all, thumbs up or thumbs down on the name Brick. Brick Wall, get it? Just wanted to make sure you guys
Yeah, we get it. Thanks. Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Sometimes I have to show you guys the obvious
The guy
things, all
with
right?
the best dad jokes must like that one.
Hey, he makes fun of us for our dad jokes.
That's the name,
That
man.
was like-
I was helping
come on,
you explain it. Anyways, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Yeah, I like it. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite nickname in the NHL world? Do you have anything?
Oh, man. Ever?
Ever? Yeah, it doesn't have to be right now.
Jeez. I mean,
Can I jump in here?
yeah, okay, go.
Hashik, the Dominator.
The Dominator?
My
Yeah, that was
all-time
pretty good.
favorite.
That was pretty good.
All right. You know what my favorite is? Pat Verbeek, the little ball of hate. Like, can you beat that? And it's also like only the spectrum of the playing against him is one of the toughest things to do. So little ball of hate, Pat Verbeek. So okay, we give the thumbs up on Joseph Wall.
Yeah.
A second game tonight is New York Rangers, Vancouver Canucks, a rematch of the 1994 Stanley Cup.
Oh, man.
Born and raised in Vancouver, so I had to bring this old vintage hat, the old the graphic here as well. I remember that final very well. I think a lot of Punjabis, especially in Vancouver, ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਾਂ ਚੇਤਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਆਹ ਦੇਖੋ ਜੀ ਉਸ ਜ਼ਮਾਨੇ ਦੀ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਹੀ ਸਟੈਂਡਰਡ ਡੈਫੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ 'ਚ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ 7 ਗੇਮਾਂ ਮੁਕਾਬਲਾ ਇਹ ਚੱਲਿਆ ਸੀ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਆ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਫੈਨਸ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਐਂਡ 'ਚ New York Rangers ਜਿੱਤ ਗਏ ਸੀ, but Vancouver close ਇੰਨਾ ਨੇੜੇ ਆ ਗਏ ਸੀ, ਪਰ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣੀ. What do you guys remember that from that 94 Cup Final specifically?
I'm going to age myself here, and you guys can make fun of me because you're going to do that anyways. But मैं तो high school च सीखा उधर.
Or even university, but okay.
Very funny. I remember this, man. It was like Trevor Linden almost single-handedly brought them back into that game and almost won it, but it was heartbreaking, man. They came so close, and that team was so good. That team had so many stars on it that you thought this was going to be it. The Canucks are finally going to win. And then they just came this close.
Great thing they brought those jerseys back. I love those jerseys growing up. I was actually in India, in Punjab,
wow.
Mondale, at that time,
Okay.
1994 with the family. So I missed the games, but you know what? I definitely saw that feed.
They didn't have it in India?
From our local Apana video stores, that feed that we just saw in 94, I definitely saw that when I got back.
Yeah, for me I was in the mix, right? Like I was in Vancouver. I remember going to like wedding functions, and they wouldn't have internet back then, so you'd have to. People would run to the reception floor to give a score update during that playoff series. But very much like everybody else, after they lost, they had this big event at BC Place Stadium where it was like a thank you, a rally post Stanley Cup Final. Awesome vibes.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's I think for a lot of Vancouverites, especially if you live in this part of the world, it was a big moment. To talk a little bit more about that, Janne Mantada te Harpreet te kool.
Let's be real, folks. It's been 29 years since that Stanley Cup Final, so let's not talk about that anymore. But Harp, so it's a very early season. Obviously, it's only been like 2 or 3 weeks. Obviously, some overreactions. You know, I don't think Alex DeBrincat's going to win the Art Ross or the scoring race, but right now he's up there. That's what the NHL usually is like in the first 2 or 3 weeks. A lot of chaos, a lot of moving parts. Tata sahab na ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਨੋਟ ਕੀਤਾ?
ਨੋਟ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਤਮ ਟੀਮਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਰਿਕਾਰਡ ਬੜਾ ਸ਼ਾਨਦਾਰ ਰਿਹਾ. So we saw teams like the Vegas, the Colorado, you know, they're unbeaten. Sure, they got 1 loss apiece each, and those came to kind of weaker opponents. We saw Vegas finally lose a game, and that was against Chicago. So, you know, the parity's still there in the league. You don't know who's going to win on any given night, but those teams are running full steam into the season. So I'm kind of more surprised with that than some of these mediocre teams or teams that didn't make the playoffs in the last few years doing so good right now, because we all see that. We all see a team, you know, do so good in their first 10 games, and then in the middle of the season, or they're already out by American Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's especially Vegas. You know, a team wins the Cup and they come out with a 7-0 start. I mean, they're still undefeated. They lost in overtime to Chicago. Still no regulation losses. But I wanted to actually key in on the Ottawa Senators. What a terrible week for them. 3 straight losses. That's not even the worst part. Shane Pinto getting suspended 41 games. In my opinion, that's not even the worst part. The worst part, in my opinion, was their loss against Buffalo on Tuesday. You're playing a divisional rival. Ottawa and Buffalo has been kind of placed in that same kind of tier, a team that's on the rise. I personally think the Sabres are further ahead, but regardless, they're supposed to be neck and neck. You're playing a divisional rival. Your goaltenders can't stop a puck in that game. You get embarrassed on home ice. And furthermore, Anton Forsberg, sure, maybe it's not his fault the team lost, but after 2 periods, he got the hook. That's fair. Nobody told him. That is the most embarrassing thing that I've seen in a very long time. So he comes out on the ice for the 3rd period, and he's getting ready to go. Travis Hamonic has to skate up to him and like, hey, Forsberg, coach forgot to tell you, but you're not starting the 3rd period. So the backup comes in, Korpisalo. Like that, a Pee-wee coach doesn't make a mistake. That is brutal. Like if I was the goaltender, like I would be furious at my head coach for that. How hard is it to go up to a guy in the dressing room and be like, "Hey bud, not your night. Corpus is gonna go in the 3rd." That's all he had to say. Like that's a brutal week for the Senators. Anyways, Randeep, I just have to get that off my chest as a former goalie myself.
A bit of Midi Goldstone here from Mantad Pandal in the pregame show.
I think so.
And here I thought he was going to talk about the 94 series, so I was told some bad information on that.
He doesn't want to talk about it.
He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to do that at all. Okay, that's thanks, boys. We got the countdown clock here on my screen as well. 3 minutes, 38 seconds till airtime. Want to remind you what's coming up tonight on the broadcast. Nashville, Toronto. That's right. Toronto is going to Nashville. Country music's home. Ryan O'Reilly, musician himself, is going to be playing in this game. It's the revenge game perspective potentially going on here. He only played half a season, less than half a season. But there is an angle to that. This is the end of a road trip for the Toronto Maple Leafs. दूसरे पासे हांजी वही late game. New York Rangers ਅਤੇ Vancouver Canucks ਦਾ ਮੁਕਾਬਲਾ ਗਰਮੋ-ਗਰਮ Vancouver Canucks ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁਣ 5 ਗੇਮਾਂ ਜਿੱਤ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਆ 7 ਚੋਂ. And the New York Rangers, they were rested one day. They got firepower. They got a heck of a power play.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good matchup too, guys.
It's going to be interesting to see how Vancouver carries over the momentum from yesterday's game. Great game for Vancouver last night, 5-0 victory, but true test tonight.
That's right. All right. You know what to do. OmniTV.ca/hockey or join us on air Omni Television. Gerp's putting on the jacket. I'm finishing off my coffee. Tax finishing whatever he's drinking there. He says it's coffee. I don't believe him. But join us shortly. We're coming.